Hey everybody, welcome to Combat Saturday for September 5th, 2020. I'm your host, DM Gallibond. But wait a minute, I hear you say, we like the new format, we like the cold opens. Yeah, but sorry guys, I just couldn't think of anything really creative to do for a weapon. You know, Fiona the fighter's turn comes around, she knocks an arrow, and she shoots her longbow. Okay. And today, for September 5th, 2020, we will be talking about the longbow on Combat Saturday. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. The longbow is a martial ranged weapon. It is just about the longest range weapon in the game, with normal distance is up to 150 feet. Long range, which means attacking at disadvantage, it's up to 600 feet. That is just about the longest distance of anything that you'll find in the normal equipment list for 5th edition D&D. 50 gold is the cost, and the arrows it fires deal 1d8 piercing damage. Now, one thing that's missing in 5th edition that is in some earlier editions is there is no rate of fire. That is because 5th edition has gotten rid of the rate of fire as a tag for weapons, and instead they have rolled that into your class's number of attacks. So if you're a fighter, it doesn't matter whether you have a great sword or whether you have a longbow or whether you have any other weapon, you get one attack per round, level 1 through 4. You hit level 5, now you get a second attack every round. And once again, as long as you don't have a weapon that has the loading property. Loading property throws a monkey wrench into the cogs, but longbows do not have loading. Obviously, Great Axe does not have loading. So 5th level, you can make 2 attacks with your Great Axe. You may get 2 attacks with your longbow. Now, if you have a weapon that has the loading property, you are limited to 1 attack per round with that weapon. So what does that mean? That means if you have, like, let's say a crossbow, which has the loading property, if you have 2 attacks per round for your character, you don't get to fire that crossbow twice. You fire it once, and then if you want to make a second attack, you have to drop that crossbow and you have to attack with another weapon. Well, if it's a light crossbow, you don't have to drop it. You can put it down and then with your other hand, like throw a dagger or, jab somebody with a dagger or something like that. Probably throw a dagger would be the thing that you would do. So yeah, you're kind of screwed if you have extra attacks when you're using weapons that have the loading property in 5th edition. But a longbow, you're covered. You don't need to worry about that property. Okay. As I said, the longbow has been around forever, since the earliest days of D&D. And notice in original D&D, all bows did 1d6 damage. The difference is in the range and the cost and the weight. So a short bow would be 50, 100, and 150. Longbow was 70, 140, 210. Cost is 25 for the short bow or 40 for the 40 for the longbow, and then the encumbrance or the weight is 2 pounds or 20 coin weight for the short bow, and 3 pounds or 30 coin weight for the longbow. In 1st edition, the bow, you now had composite short bows and longbows and regular short bows and longbows. Now, the composite basically gives you more pull for that you can use with a lower strength. So basically, it's a strength threshold for using a bow. Um, you don't have to have as high a strength to use a composite bow as you do to use a regular bow. Um, and the composite bows are more expensive. The regular longbow actually has a better range than the composite bow does. If we go over here and we take a look at the range, and this is where you see that rate of fire as we're talking about. Um, the longbows, both composite and regular, have they fire 2 arrows per round. For the composite longbow, the short range is 60 feet. For the longbow, regular longbow, it's 70 feet. Then 120 or 140, and then 210 and 210. So the long range is the same. And then this is the armor class adjustment. When you're shooting at something um, that has an armor class, you actually subtract. If you're shooting at something with a armor class of 2, you subtract 2 from your attack roll. If you're shooting at something with an armor class 10, you add 3 to your attack roll. Yes, I know, it's weird, but that was what they did in the older editions. Okay, for your for second edition, the short bow and long bow had 30, or the longbow was 75 gold, composite longbow was 100 gold, and then you had 2 different kinds of arrows, and the difference is these flight arrows would um, go further, but they would do less damage. Sheaf arrows would not go quite as far, but they would deal more damage. And so that was the difference there. And again, if you take a look at the rate of fire and the range, um, the flight arrow, and so they break it down by not only the bow type but the arrow type. So composite longbow flight arrows have a range of 60, 120, 210. Sheaf arrows have a range of 40, 80, 170. Normal longbow, the flight arrows are 70, 40, 110, and the sheaf arrows are 50, 100, and 170. So again, the short and medium range for the regular longbow is actually longer than for the composite longbow. And then the rate of fire is 2 shots for every round. Okay, then you get into the third edition, and you have regular and composite longbows, and the range increment for, and here they do something different. They reverse this about the range increment for the composite bow. The longbow costs 75 gold, 1d6 or 1d8 damage, and a range increment of 100 feet. For the composite longbow, it's 100 gold, again 1d6, 1d8, and the range increment is 110 feet. So that's what they did in third edition. Now in fourth edition, they finally said, okay, we're going to get rid of this whole composite thing, because that's kind of an anachronism if you think about it, because compound bows are really kind of a modern invention, that have all the pulleys and everything that give you the extra pull with less tension on the bowstring. That's all a relatively new invention, so that's not really something that you would think of in a fantasy setting. So as a DM, it would be up to the DM, obviously, whether they allow the composite bows to be in the game or not. I, you know, I don't know. I don't think I would allow the compound bow to be in the game if I were the DM. I would just say no, no, no. It's just the regular. So longbow and short bow. In 4th edition, the longbow deals 1d10 damage and has a range of 20 squares or 40 squares, so that's 100 feet or 200 feet. Price is 30 gold, so it's really a bargain in 4th edition. And it's 3-pound weight. Load free, that just means you don't have to spend an action to load it. Short bows, 1d8, and significantly lower range there. So 15 times 5, yeah, 75 or 150 feet for the long range. All right, well, that is going to do it for our discussion of the longbow. If you like everything that we're doing on the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Please like and share the videos. Please click the post notification bell so that you will get notified about every time we drop a new video on the channel. In the comments down below, please let us know anything, any questions that you have about the longbow. Do you have any house rules at your table on rate of fire that you use in 5th edition with bows and longbows? I'd be kind of curious to see how many people have maybe decided that they sort of like those older rules, and DMs that are actually using those still in 5th edition games. Because obviously, DM ultimately decides at their table what they're going to do, and it should probably be a cooperative decision where everybody is in agreement on what to do around the table. Okay, that is going to do it for me. Hope you all have a wonderful week. Take care. Good night, everyone.